Hello and good afternoon, floralpreneurs. It is I, Alison Ellis, coming at you live for a redo on yesterday's Tuesday Q&A. The Q&A sound cut out halfway through my live stream. So here I am today for a do-over. So if you tuned in yesterday and you lost me halfway through, so sorry. We will make up for it today with a Wednesday live stream. So thanks so much for tuning in. Again, whether you watch me live or on a replay, I always appreciate you taking the time to show up in my space and watch my stuff because your time is super valuable. And I know that. Even now, when it feels like we have a lot of extra time on our hands, somehow that time is still flying by and feeling super extra valuable. At least I know it does to me right now. So anything I'm spending my time on is something I really care about. So that means coming here and talking to you guys. And when you spend time with me, I really do truly appreciate it. So today, the reason I called you here yesterday and then I'm back again today is because we are seriously in the second half of this year, you guys. We are in the end of July, and that means there are only 5 months left in 2020. The idea of kissing 2020 goodbye is feeling super duper good. So I am really thinking about this as not that we have 5 whole more months left in 2020, but that we actually are really quickly getting to the point where we got to make some moves. We got to make some moves now to be lined up for 2021. Here's why I think this is the thing to be thinking about right now. How you end this year strongly, how you make deliberate moves now in a really serious and intentioned way. It matters now because 2021 is going to be a funky year for us too. I know a lot of you are already onto that, but we're going to have some people that postpone or cancel or continue to change their dates. We're going to have people who are disappointed that 2021 isn't just back to normal and is a different new normal that we're working with. So we're going to have all kinds of things, hurdles, unexpected things to deal with in 2021 too. So while I'm not coming here to say it's doom and gloom, next year is going to be just as bad as this year, because I don't think that, not at all. What I do think is Michelle Loretta and I talked about this when she was on my on for a live stream a few weeks ago. You're basically having your 2020 income stretched out over 2 years right now. You're going to try to make it with those 2020 weddings in 2021, and it's going to maybe be a tight year next year too, right? What's happening though in reality is we're feeling really busy for 2021. You might be feeling this way. You can raise your hand if you are. You might be feeling like you're already so booked for 2021 that you don't even actually feel the pressure that you normally feel to attract great clients and bring people into your business, right? Because you can't even put another wedding on your calendar. But, right, the 2022 is the thing we got to have our eyes on. The 2022 is when we're finally going to actually get our business moving in a better, more cogent way. Instead of being on a hamster wheel, the wheel's going to move forward. That's the hope anyway. So I think what you're going to find is people booking their 2022 wedding with you way earlier than you normally see people booking. So how are you going to handle this, right? How are you going to have a good streamlined system for bringing people in for 2022? Again, I know it sounds crazy, right? It's like so far away. It seems so far away. In the past, I would normally be so busy with weddings right now in July, August, September, that it wouldn't even occur to me to care about 2022. But this year's different, right? This is not a normal year. So what are you going to do right now to focus on the rest of the year? So first of all, what I started talking about yesterday is this idea of getting a little bit of just a sense of where you're at financially, right? It's a really good time to just write down everything you got. Write down what you have in savings, checking, what you have for your business, what you have for personal, what do you owe, what's owed to you, and just get a really good sense of what you're working with. Because dealing in real numbers is always going to be the most helpful way to make an informed decision about what you need to actually do, how much work you need to bring in this year, what you're looking to do for next year. Like, how do you actually make decisions? The only way is by looking at real numbers. You don't want to play a guessing game at a time where everything is already so uncertain. So I just had a coaching call with a client who it just filled my last slot on my private one-on-one coaching program that I offered a couple of weeks ago. So one thing that we talked about is like, it's very frustrating right now, right? To have been on the cusp of having her best year yet, right? A lot of us were like, it was gonna be our year, right? She was on the cusp of her best year, and then it's frustrating. Everything gets pulled out from underneath her. But she knows she's got to move on, right? She knows that she's got to have a plan for what she's going to do between now and next June, and then what's going to happen following that in 2022. So one of the things that we talked about is just planning for the next 90 days. Just what are you going to do, right? For 90 days from now, how are you focused on bringing in income? What kind of sales message are you putting out there? What are you offering to people? What do you care about? What do your customers care about? Just for 90 days, right? Just a short little look instead of that long-term lens that, business people and business coaches are always saying, like, we have to have that long-term plan. Where are you going to be 10 years from now? Some of us don't know where we're going to be 10 minutes from now, right? So instead of the long view, let's just look at where you're going to be 90 days from now. What do you want to be true for your business 90 days from now? Now is the time to plan that, right? So if you want to know what you're doing in August, September, October, it is time now to get yourself planned for that. So the things I want you to do, get your finances together, get a mini short business plan, right? For 90 days of just what's going to happen with your business. And then if you want to go further, right? This is the time to perfect your sales processes, right? What are your sales systems? What's the process? What are the steps? How do we attract the great clients? And then how do we make sure that we close the sale with the great clients? Because it's important that we attract them, but then that's not enough. We have to actually lead them to the easy yes that eager clients get to. When you attract clients who really already love what you do, that is when it becomes easier to close the sale. But just because they came to you hot to trot and they love your stuff and they're eager to work with you, doesn't mean that they don't also need you to give them the steps, right? They need to know exactly how this works to book with you and give you money, right? To give you the deposit, to sign the contract, to say, I'm in, right? To sign up with you and say, I want to work with you. And that's really always our goal. Our goal is always to find the people who are the most eager, right? We don't want to sell to everybody. I don't want to convince somebody who's not even getting married that I'm the florist for them, right? I want to look for the right people. I want to talk to the right people. I want to understand who my audience is and what they need from me so that when I show up, it feels authentic and I'm building that know, like, trust factor, right? That know, like, and trust factor is the thing that you can work on right now so that when it becomes early 2021 and you get those inquiries for 2022, you're ready to just book them without a meeting, phone call, early booking, without a meeting, getting that deposit, getting that contract signed, because your time is valuable, right? And so is theirs. So we want to respect their time by making it clear to them that they're in the right place. And then we want to make it even more clear that we're the right choice, get them to yes with our really easy to follow sales systems. So let me know if that sounds doable to you. Do you think you can work on how to get people through your sales systems quicker, how to get people from that initial inquiry to a yes in a way that saves you time? I had asked a week or so ago, how many revisions will you make to a proposal before somebody books? And I was fascinated with the answers because there was two opposite sides of the spectrum. It was either one, I will make one revision, or as many as they need. Very few people said two, very few people said three, maybe nobody even said three. The options were 1, 2, 3, or as many as they need. And it was a pretty neck and neck in terms of only one or as many as you need. Now, just to be clear, those things are very opposite of one another, right? I protect my time and I protect how much information I give you, and you get one revision before giving me money is one side of the fence. And I will update this 10 times, 5 times, 3 times, however many times you need. I'll get on the phone for the third time before the deposit. That's a totally different side of the fence, right? So there weren't too many people that were like, I'll do 2. You got to have your own rules. And if you don't mind talking to people multiple times, exchanging 5 or 10 emails, hey, that's your prerogative, right? I'm not going to tell you you're doing something wrong necessarily, but I do one. And the way I do that is by making it really, really clear. By the way, most of the time I do 0. Most of the time, the initial quote that they get is what they accept. And they add on to it. They might change it later down the road, but we don't meet, we book on a phone call, and they don't ask for revisions, okay? So you can do this too, and I know that you can. And it just takes a little bit of time, practice, and frankly, my templates, and my steps that help walk you through this stuff. So like I said, I'm doing this Floralpreneur Fast Track 6-week coaching program. It's booked up, so I don't have any more slots for that available. But what I do have is something brandy new for you that you can get between now and Tuesday, the 28th of July. So I have this, I've been doing my Patreon training since November of last year. And I have got a ton of really excellent lessons put together for the keys to booking great clients. I really focus on the 3 keys to booking great clients, which are, you got to pre-qualify them so you're not wasting time on people who could never afford you. Then we've got to give them that fast proposal sales system, right? We got to meet on the phone, ideally, book the client, just get that together quickly. We don't want to spend time with lots of revisions back and forth. Can we meet 3 times? Can I bring my mom in? Can I bring my fiance in? Can I bring my grandma, right? It's got to be way streamlined, especially now where people are not actually meeting in person all the time. We got to perfect that phone consultation now. We got to perfect the art of booking without meeting in person, right? So I walk you through that in my 3 keys. And then the most important key, which is also the most elusive, attracting the client, right? You got to attract the great client, then you pre-qualify, then you close the sale. But the attracting is the hardest part, which is why I like to focus on the easiest, most fixable things first, which are pre-qualifying and getting your sales systems together, right? So when you get those things together, and you're also working on how you speak to your audience, how you build your brand messaging, what your story is, what's unique about you so that people pick you for you. That's how people become eager to work with you, because they get that it's you. They get that about your brand, that your brand and you are a limited commodity, right? You don't have endless slots for weddings, right? You don't have endless spots that you can fill. So they have to book with you quickly, right? Because you're in demand, because you're the one they want, right? So that's the kind of stuff that you can do now, you guys. There is no reason to wait. For people who are like, I know 2021 is going to be super busy, right? Do you think you have more time to figure this out next year? You don't. So get it together now. This is your time, right? This time, as much as it's hard for people, plenty of people are finding ways to find the gift in the time. If you're looking for the gift of this downtime in your business, this is it, right? Figuring out your keys to booking your clients. So you can try to do this kind of stuff on your own, or you can let me walk you through it step by step. So you can get all of these lessons from the keys to booking great clients for the first time ever in this course that I put together for you. You get all of the lessons together. It's a $396 course that you can save $150 off through Tuesday if you want to sign up. Or you can just join my Patreon training for $29 a month. You'll get access to all the training that's in this course I just put together. So you get the same thing. It's just a matter of, do you want to join and do the membership at $29, or do you want to just get the whole course and have the whole course all at once? So the course is only going to be available at this price through July 28th. So you have a couple of options. And like I said, people are doing coaching with me to get a custom experience, that one-on-one training, walking through a lot of these things. But those spots are sold. So I can't do that with more people right now. So this is the closest way that you can get through all of those lessons, all of that training, how I pre-qualify, how I get people on the phone and don't meet, how I get them to book with that initial quote, how I send a quote, right? So I share all of that with you, plus a whole bunch of really streamlined, what I call marketing shortcuts, because marketing and talking to our audience, doing the social media stuff is a drag, right? It's the hardest part of what we do. And there are 1,000,001 courses out there that are like focused just on Instagram or just on your social media. But that's not usually what works for us as florists, because just having a social media presence is not really what we do. We actually also need time to work. So what I do is I'll help you with weekly prompts to keep you moving for months and months and months. I think I've got 10 months at least of prompts in there to walk you through, so you know what you're going to talk about each week with your audience. You start building some brand consistency that way. The know, like, and trust factor is the thing that we want to work on. Yes, I want you to sit and look at your numbers, right, and see what your small, short-term business plan is. But long-term, good brand building, right? Integrity brand building requires you to constantly be focused on building your know, like, and trust factor. That happens on your website with your messaging. It happens in the sales systems, the communication that you send to people, the way you lead them to a yes. All of that is part of that know, like, and trust factor, okay? Let me know if you have any questions. I see some comments come in. And hey, Laura. Laura says, is it a crazy time to start a flower business? And then she says, this sounds good. I'm starting the first step of finances now. Yes. Okay, awesome. Oh no, that was Freya who said that. Yes, definitely do the finances. It can be scary. People can really put it off. It's so easy, okay? Just look and see what you got going on. And then you know what you need to know. You can't make decisions on what your next 90 days should be like until you know what today looks like, right? How much money do you have? How much money do you owe? So Laura's asking, is it a crazy time to start a flower business? It's a crazy time for anything right now, right? I'm like, I don't even know if I can send my kid to school in September. So everything feels like a crazy time to start anything, right? I think it's always arguably a crazy time to start a flower business. So why not? The truthful, real answer is I don't know, because it depends, right? It depends what you want from the business. Are you looking for this to be, your sole income for your entire family? Or is this a supplemental business? Is it part-time? Is it a side hustle? So what do you want from your business? That would be one of the first things before I could tell you whether you're crazy or not, Laura, would be, what do you want from it? And then it depends how much of this back knowledge you have, right? Do you have experience with sales? The floral design piece is the most fun part, and it's what brings most of us in. I see Penny commenting, I adore the design portion of this trade. The business mind is lacking. So that's how I think a lot of florists really are, Penny, that it is the floristry that brings us in. I mean, no duh, right? Of course it is. That's why we love it. But the people who do have some sort of business background, even if it's just you have really good coaching in sales, like if you ever worked at a high-end department store, or someplace where you have, or you did some kind of psychology course around how people see pricing and sales and how they want to be talked to. There's a lot of different places where you can bring in tools that you can apply to your business to attract great customers and get sales. Being a great florist isn't enough. I hate having to say that, but it is the truth, because you can be a really talented florist, but not be able to close the sale, not be able to get that proposal out in a way that feels like the customer wants to say yes to it, not being able to get the proposal out quick enough, not being able to listen, right? That's something that took me a while. I cannot tell a lie. It took me a while to get good at listening for the important things. And that's one of the things that I share in my Patreon training and in this new course, The Keys to Booking Clients. I share a real transcript of a phone consultation with you so you can see really what I'm talking about, what I'm asking, and actually how little I talk about flowers in that call. So is it a crazy time to start a flower business? Maybe. Let's see. Penny says, thank you, Alison, for sharing your business mind. My pleasure. Oh, Laura's back. She says, I am a career marketer with little design experience. Okay, so it's funny you should say that, because I was actually about to say, if you have experience with marketing, it's easier probably for you to break in. The marketing is the hardest part of any business, I think, because especially if you do have experience with marketing, you already know that it's about talking to your clients. And when we're starting our business, sometimes we don't actually know who our clients are yet, right? Sometimes you have to actually do business to figure out who wants what you're selling, so you can figure out how to talk to them more specifically. So I think if you have a little bit of design experience, but you have a career in marketing behind you, you got as good a reason as anybody to think it's a good time to jump in. I really mean that, because if you know how to have a decent online storefront, if you know how to talk to clients and represent what it is that you're going to be doing, right? It's going to be easier to get clients to come through the door or click your online shop, because you probably don't actually want them coming through your door. But that's, I think, you're as good as you can get if you've got a marketing background and you want to start a floral design business. So, because you can always develop your skills, right? Whether it's design skills, or if you're a great designer, but you're not great at marketing, you can develop those skills. We just have to seek them out, right? We have to self-educate. It's an ongoing process of figuring out, what are we lacking? What do we need to learn? And once you learn that thing, applying it, because it's not enough to just buy a course, right? And then not apply what you learned. We don't want to be the constant student. We want to take a lesson, put it into action, see the result, right? And that's exactly what my lessons do in the Keys to Booking Great Clients. Laura says, thank you. You are so welcome. And feel free to, message me privately if you want to, if you need some more resources. I got a ton of stuff on my website, at realflowerbusiness.com, to, help you figure out how to do lots of things in your business. Starting with a business plan is always the thing, though. And it's a step that people skip all the time because they accidentally started their business. They were just super talented at flowers. They got hired to do something, then they got hired to do something else, and all of a sudden they're running a flower business, right? So no matter where you are in your business, whether you are intentionally starting or you fell into it, just happened to stumble into floristry, like now is the time to get together a business plan, whether it's just for the 90 days, like I suggested, or you really do want to think long term. I think you got to get something in writing for yourself as soon as possible. And I really do mean that. Before the end of July, have in writing where your business is headed before the end of this year. It's not just about thinking the way we've been thinking, where it's sort of 1 year to the next. We got to look ahead now, further than we have had to before, because we know next year's going to be funky, right? 2021 is going to be funky. So hopefully it's funky and it works out, but we are going to have things that we didn't anticipate happening still next year. So I'm hopeful that 2022 is the year where this is what my sort of vision is for you guys out there. My vision is that 2022 is the year where we start to redeem ourselves from the stuff we lost in 2020. And that 2021 is the year where we book that 2022 calendar like fire, right? Where we book the 2022 weddings on the phone call, right? With clear terms about how we're moving forward. And we gain that trust easily because we've been showing up. Our customers understand who we are. We have the sales systems down. And as 2021 is whatever it is, right? The busiest year you ever had, the year with continued cancellations. I don't know what it's going to be, right? Fill in the blank to be determined. That 2022 is the year where things do feel more smoothed out, right? Where 2021, whatever happens, but you're not having to stop what you're doing to have consultations and trying desperately to book 2022. You kind of had it booked up. I'm thinking you're going to have it booked up before July of 2021. That's sort of like, that's my prediction, because I don't think people are going to want to wait any longer if they already put off their 2021 wedding that they were going to have, right? Penny says, is there a class on contracts? I don't have contracts in this particular course, the keys to booking, but you can get my contract on my website, Penny, right at realflowerbusiness.com. It's one of my templates that you can get. So it's always important to have all of these things, right? We want to have a contract. I had a super loosey-goosey contract for years, many, many years, until I ran into a problem where I was like, oh, rats, I wish I had not a loosey-goosey contract. So this is definitely the year to get all those things together so that we know how we're going to move forward from here. And I want you guys to book great weddings in 2021 for 2022. I want you guys to book in a way that feels streamlined and in a way where you feel really confident. That's the thing. That's the real value of this course, of all these lessons, of my Patreon training, of anything I do, really, is that confidence that you get. So when you move forward, you feel good about setting the rules. You feel like you know it's okay to do this on the phone. You're not being standoffish. This is just the way you do things now. This is just how you're going to meet with people from now on to save yourself time. This is how you're going to eliminate price shoppers, right? If you want to stop sending quotes to people who can't afford you, this is the time to work on that, right? And my keys to booking clients, that's where you're going to learn those tips on how to stop writing quotes for people who cannot afford you. Hi, Kirsten says, do you have a class with your best recommendations on how to get clients to find out your business exists? All right, so that is a good question. I think this course that I'm talking about right now, the 3 keys to booking, again, which you can also just get in my Patreon training. You'll find this on my blog right now, by the way. If you just go to realflowerbusiness.com, all the details are right there. You will get those sorts of tips. The truth is, the best way to get people to find you, no one really likes the answer, okay? Are you ready? Blogging. Blogging is the way. And that's why in the Patreon training and in this course, the keys to booking clients, that is where you're going to get some tips on how to show up on your blog, on your social media in a way where you're doing something every week to gain that SEO. People are doing way too much work on Instagram and not bringing those clients to their own website. So that's really the number one way to get people to know your business exists, is that you show up on your website. So you're telling Google you exist, right? And then you're showing up on Instagram. So you're directing people to go back to your website. Find more on this on my blog. Find more on this link in bio, right? We don't want to give them everything on Instagram and then that's the only place they go to get our best stuff, right? Your best stuff has always got to be on your website. And the way to get people to see that you exist is by making sure that Google knows you exist. And that is still through blogging. So I regret to inform you, the best way, Kristen, is to actually show up on your own website. And it's the stuff that is, I don't know if you guys saw in the group, one of my coaching students, Kirsten, showed up and she's like, I'm blogging. And she did this great post about how she does these sketches and brings them to life with flowers. And I'm really, really proud of her doing that. She is the perfect coaching student for me because she's like, I want to blog. I accept that I have to do this and I'm ready to do it. So that's, when I do that one-on-one coaching, by the way, which is way more expensive than the Patreon training or this keys to booking clients, right? That's a much bigger investment. So instead of investing $1,500 or $1,800 in a coaching one-on-one situation, you can start to go through the stuff for the low price of, I think it's $246 or something like that with the $150 discount right now, or just the $29 a month Patreon training. And by the way, that Patreon training there's no obligation. It's month to month. Okay. So don't feel like you're going to get roped into something. You can unsubscribe anytime if you did want to check that out. So let's see. So Kirsten says, I've already got a kick-ass blog going on my Almost Live website. I love it. Okay, great. Excellent. I love an awesome blog on an Almost Live website. Seriously, that's so great. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to just keep up that good work, right? And if you need help with like, what should you blog about this week, next week, whatever, that's the kind of stuff that I've got inside this training. Again, it's on Patreon and in this course that I just created so you can get it all at once. Penny says, I like to show from shop to event setup, the great flower journey. Yeah, I love that too. It's great to have a thing that your business does, that your brand does, that brings clients in. We always want to be talking to the people we want to be selling to. And then we also want to be understanding the people that we're trying to sell to. What do they need right now? And I'll tell you this, what your customers need right now is different than what your customers needed last June, last July, last August, right? They need a different level of reassurance, of understanding, of, ability to maybe get out of this contract, right? Everybody's got a different need and a different question coming your way in 2021. That's for sure. So when we get ourselves centered now, right? Like centered, like what are we doing? What are we really doing? What are the next 90 days? It becomes easier to plan the next 90 days after that and the next 90 days after that. So you have a clearer sense of how to move forward. It's the most uncertain time I've ever had in my business, right? Hands down. It's the most uncertain time we've ever had in our lives, most of us, right? Unless you've had some other major crisis that has impacted you more directly than coronavirus, keeping you inside your house for so many months. So at a time where it's the most uncertain, I don't want to say to you, here, we're going to do things the way I've always done things. Just follow the plan I used to follow, and that's going to get you where you want to go. That's not what we can do right now, right? We can't just say we're going to make a plan for 5 years. We can hardly plan next week. So let's think in 90-day increments right now, and let's not fall behind. That's what is going to happen if you sit back and you go, well, I don't have anything and I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm just going to wait till 2021. And I'm just going to, like, you don't have anything to gain from that if you are so super committed to keeping your business, right? Or to starting your business, right? This is the time to do it. We really, really, really don't want to wait to figure out that we are now starting late. You gotta hit the ground running and then keep running. We got to keep our feet moving. So even if you're in a power walk right now, maybe you took a vacation, right? A lot of people would kill for a vacation right now. I would kill for a vacation right now. But we got to keep moving forward through uncertainty. When you can't plan something nice for yourself, or you can't plan a break or a rest, let's just keep moving, but in a way that has intention, because we don't want to move just to move. We don't want to just keep right on a hamster wheel. We do not want to do that. We want to be moving forward with our momentum. So that's what I've been encouraging you guys to do ever since March. Keep moving forward and keep reevaluating. And that's what I'm doing too. So I'm doing the same work with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, the thing I'm pumping at you this week is my keys to booking great clients. So this again is all found in my Patreon training, or you can get it all in one sweet, neat little course. It's on sale for $150 off through next Tuesday. That's July 28th. But you can join the Patreon training at $29 anytime to get the exact training that you'll find in there. Penny says, do micro events mean retraining us for micro designs? We'll have to make mini bouquets and mini everything. Hey, you know what? You might be onto something. You might regret that I just said that out loud, because that might have been your $1 million idea, Penny. Having mini everything. Micro everything. Now, whatever you do moving forward in your business, I just want you to feel heart-centered around it. And that is a big ask right now, when your heart might be feeling a little like in your stomach, frankly, right? It's a little bit like being on a roller coaster. But I know that with some direction and frankly, with some help from me, then I know that you can do this and feel more confident at the end of this year as you start booking those clients for 2022. I know it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy for me to be saying 2022 out loud right now, but that is where the focus should be. That's how we move forward from here. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. You can head over to realflowerbusiness.com, click on my blog, and you're going to find this training right there. If you have questions for me, don't hesitate to be in touch. I am always here, and I am always here. No, I'm an email away though, and I will see you next Tuesday for my usual Tuesday Q&A. Sorry, yesterday's got cut off midway through, but you know, I guess it just wasn't meant to be, right? I'll see you on the interwebs. Keep doing beautiful work. Keep moving forward in your business, and like I said, I'll see you next time. Bye.